Cindy, and I'm here with Twilight Vision. We're at the premiere of The Death of Alice Blue. I'm here with Alex Appel and Park Bench. Appel. Oh, sorry. And I'm here with Alex Appel and Park Bench.
Hello.
Hello. So can you guys tell me a little bit about the movie?
Yeah, it's a coming-of-age story involving vampires in advertising. Alex here plays the title character, Alice Blue, who has a death, and the death is turning into a vampire.
What we're doing with Alice Blue is a bit of a different take on vampire in the genre, so you never know what the response is going to be. So it's so nice to finally get like a real audience reaction.
And it's really nice to be at the Museum of Modern Art.
New York.
We're from Toronto, Canada, so it's pretty cool for us.
So what was your inspiration on doing your own take on a vampire film?
Well, I've always enjoyed vampires, and I think we wanted to add to the genre and portray it in a new and different light, and I hope we've been successful with that. The main key that I felt was necessary to add to the lore or rules of vampires is that not every person can be turned into a vampire, that they have to have some predisposition. And Alice, the title character, has a huge predisposition, and vampires are dying out, so she may be the only living key to saving that dying breed. So in that way we differentiated from it, and the whole presentation I think is more like David Lynch meets Anne Rice than it is anything else.
So I know you guys have done a lot of acting together before. This is your first time directing and writing and producing.
It's our first feature, but we've done other projects. We've done a couple of music videos together and a PSA and some theater shows. But yeah, no, Alice Blue is our first feature film.
So Park,
Yes.
what are some of the other things you've done as an actor?
Well, it's funny. I have a little oeuvre of odd films, including Bride of Chucky and An American Psycho, and Get Over It with Kirsten Dunst. But it's the first two which really are in the horror genre.
I think advertising was a big part of the film as well. Can you tell me about that?
I spent a year and a half as a junior copywriter, which is basically the role that Alice Blue has in the movie, an entry-level creative, quote-unquote, role. And I was able to escape it, but I found that in ways, of course, that advertising is about sucking money out of people's pockets, or vampires sucking lifeblood out of their necks or veins. So too are the creatives sucked of creativity for the sake of sucking money out of their pockets, not for their own expression.
Can you actually tell me more about the location that you used for the shoot?
Yeah, sure. We were very lucky in finding a building in Toronto which had poor amenities, so they were looking to rent it out. We're looking to get into the film industry for rentals, and we just happened to be at the right time and place where they gave it to us for a great rate.
I think to their dismay, they didn't realize how stylistic our film is going to be, and when you see it with the paintings and there was a lot we did to their walls, which I don't know if they were pleased with, but...
Yes, it was an old 1920s building. It had something called a mercury refractor in the basement, which is shown in the movie as a blue machine with all sorts of tubes, and it glows blue with this liquid, and that actually powers somehow the elevators.
As soon as we saw it, because they gave us a tour and we saw this thing, we're like, this has to be in the film. And the only way to shoot it was through a mirror because it was such close quarters.
A 45-degree angle on the mirror.
Can you tell me a little bit about the music that you used in the film and what your involvement was in that?
We have some very talented musician friends. One of them, Michael Coulis, who did our opening and closing song, used to be in the band James. She only comes when she's on top. Is that the song, right?
Yeah, it was a big song at one time.
So
yeah.
he made original songs for our film, and Park had a hand at creating some of the songs. There was also a band called The Outfit, which unfortunately they've broken up, but they also donated some of their songs.
And we were really inspired by the Jesus and Mary chain, Here Comes Alice. But we did our own take of it with Alice walking down the street and ready to fight.
With the bats coming and the umbrella.
Yeah. And also sort of referencing the Lost Boys a bit.
Can you tell me about the use of goth scenes and goth clubs and why?
Right, well...
We originally met at something called the Twilight Zone in Toronto, which was this
I thought it was Club Noir.
No, Twilight Zone, all ages.
Is that what you based the club in the movie off?
The Black Lab was based on Club Noir, yeah.
Yeah, and so...
And we actually went to, the club turned into the Velvet Underground. And we went to the Velvet Underground, and that's where we recruited our extras for the club scene, because we wanted the real thing, you know, with the real dancing. I mean, you can't get, you know, extras that have no idea to do special vampire goth dancing, which is part of our background.
So I see the full title of the movie actually says Part 1. Are there any plans to have a Part 2?
Yes, but we have to see how Part 1 does.
Okay, the evil last question. Everyone's dying to know. What's the story behind the name Park Bench?
Oh, right. And that is not a bad question. I can understand why you'd ask. Park Bench came about from when I was doing experimental theater, and people had funny names, but at that time I guess I was sensitive to pretentiousness, and I wanted an anti-pretentious name, so I chose I chose a mundane object, an inanimate object, and I went to my father just thinking up these names. How about lamppost, ashtray, or chaise lounge, Chesterfield? And he said, why don't you just call yourself Park Bench? And I thought, all right, and so I did. Now the thing that comes around is when people hear that I'm called Park Bench, they will think I'm a pretentious ass, right?
Tell us how you felt about the movie.
It was hilarious. It made me laugh and guffaw many times.
We laughed at times we felt inappropriate.
You? What's the matter, girls? It's just a drone.
You? Go, girl.
What did you think about a comedy take on a vampire movie?
It was great. I mean, we just read Vampire and we were like, we're in.
You say vampire, I say ho.
For the record, we don't know these people, and we did not pay them.
Thank you so much, Park Bench and Alex Appel. Do you guys have any last words?
Look out for the death of Alice Blue.
Don't look back, baby's in black. Your spine tingles and your hands shake. It's been 7 days and you're still awake, oh yeah. Don't look back, baby's in black. Oh yeah. Don't look back, baby's in black.